Well, hello, y'all. It is time to breathe again on the latest Bowl for Sports Shorty with me, Charles, as your host. I'm here to talk about the NFL and specifically some of these narratives that continue to get pushed. Now, y'all know me by now, and if y'all been listening to me, maybe you are new to the webcast and the shorties we do. But if not, if you've been listening to me for a little bit, watching me, and I thank y'all for all the views and the listens, by the way. But if y'all have been listening to me, y'all already know that I can't stand a lot of the narratives, the media push, a lot of these talking heads when they get loose on topics that really don't deserve any type of conversation. It's the same stuff, almost like they're trying to speak things that just aren't going to happen into existence. So, y'all know I cannot stand that about really my profession because I do have a journalism degree. Journalism is my background. And it's sad to see what has happened in terms of people just doing things and saying things for the purpose of content. But the latest thing that has kind of gotten on my nerves a little bit is looking at the progress and how seasons have broken, particularly for the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts, the Denver Broncos, and even the Chicago Bears, if you want to throw them in there. Now, how I feel about these teams in terms of what they can do or if they can be sustainable enough to win a Super Bowl, that varies. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm not really that high on the Bears. I just don't think they're really that good. They're finding ways to win. Give them credit. They're 7-3, and surprisingly, they are on top of the very tough NFC North division. But I don't think that will sustain. The Patriots, I have some confidence in them. I have some confidence in the Colts, and I have some confidence in the Denver Broncos, but particularly after knocking the Kansas City Chiefs off 22-19 up in the Mile High City to put them at 9-2, and it looks like the Chiefs' run of division titles, which I think is at 10. It looks like that's going to come to an end by the end of the season. But we'll see. There's still a good amount of football left. And more on the Chiefs in a minute. But with Denver, with New England, with Indianapolis and Chicago, those four teams in particular, and there might be a couple of others in there that I'm just not naming, but these are the four that seem to stand out because the questions around them are whether or not they can maintain that. Can we buy them as Super Bowl contenders? Well, here's the deal with that. We need to get off what has happened in past history because that's the main reason why questions are surrounding these teams as to whether or not they can contend for a title. Based off of past history, we know what the Chiefs have done. We know the Buffalo Bills are normally around at the end, unless they play the Chiefs in the playoffs. And then the Baltimore Ravens have been another one that has been mentioned amongst the top contenders. But neither one of those teams, particularly Baltimore and Kansas City, they haven't played like that this year. Buffalo, a little uneven, but it looks like they're getting things together. They had a very good win over Tampa Bay on Sunday. So Buffalo's still sitting. They're sitting at 7-3. There were some questions about the Eagles, but it looks like the Eagles, and I mean, they're sitting there still on top of the NFC. So, with all the questions they have, it looks like they are starting to get stronger. That defense choked out a very prolific Detroit Lions offense, held them to 9 points. It looks like the Eagles will be heard from still as the defending Super Bowl champion and the reigning NFC champions as well. But, the questions around those teams, going back to the Colts, the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Bears, probably shouldn't be as much as the questions about your uh, as much about your teams that were mentioned as favorites. So all we keep hearing is, are the Colts good? Are the Patriots good? Are the Broncos good? But the question should center around what the Ravens are doing. They're sitting at 5-5 right now. They were 1-5 before going on this winning streak. And the Chiefs, there's some major questions with them. Now, we know what happened last year when they were able to be, I think, 12-0 in one score games. They're 0-5 in such games like that this year. And, well, go figure, those are their 5 losses. But they're not making the plays like they were before. The other teams are able to make those clutch plays. They are getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes and stopping drives that he may have to win the game. And those are the questions that should be asked. Maybe not so much about the Colts and the Patriots and the Broncos and the Bears, but what about those teams this season? I'm saying this season for a reason. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but I guess it came out that way. But it is an annual thing. We cannot continue to go off of past history when it comes to evaluating these teams for this year. Bottom line, the Chiefs have been mediocre this year. The Ravens have been mediocre this year. The Bills, uneven. The Eagles, little bit uneven, but finding ways to win, just keeping their hopes alive. Kind of looks like a little bit of the Chiefs season from last year, where the Eagles are just finding ways to win at the last second or at the last minute. So, look, it could still end up. We are talking about the Chiefs at the end of the season. There is very, very possible the Chiefs, because they do have the championship pedigree, can get things situated and be a factor in the playoffs. And maybe it starts coming up because they have a game with the Colts, as the Colts will visit Arrowhead Stadium. But the Chiefs could straighten out. The Ravens actually look like they look very viable. One, because even with the bad start, they're only a game behind the Pittsburgh Steelers for first place in the AFC North, and they have 2 games with Pittsburgh coming up, and it looks like they're starting to get things together. Had a struggle Sunday in Cleveland, but that's a rivalry game. Those are never easy. So I mean, I wasn't surprised to see the Browns give the Ravens a battle, but the Ravens were able to make some plays down the stretch to get their season at 5-5. So they're sitting in a good spot. The Bills are sitting in a good spot. They're a game and a half behind the Patriots in the AFC East, and they have another game coming up with the Patriots that will be up in Foxborough in the Boston area. And then, as I mentioned with the Eagles, they still look like the best team in the NFC, even through all their struggles. So my point is, everything could still work out to be the Chiefs are good and the Ravens are good and the Bills are good. But for this year, they haven't been that great. And I don't think if the Colts or the Patriots or the Broncos or the Bears, I'm a little less on the Bears, but if one of those teams end up in the AFC Championship game or perhaps in the Super Bowl, it shouldn't be a surprise, because so far they have been the best teams. I don't care about their schedule. I don't care who they played and what the winning percentage of the teams are. I don't care, because that's nothing they can really control. All you can control is what's in front of you. And so far, those have been the best teams. And we will find out if it sustains. But my question is not really with them. My question is with the Bills and the Chiefs and the Ravens and, well, to a lesser degree, the Eagles, but I think the Eagles will be okay. But that's where the question should be, not on these teams that are doing good. They look like they are more complete teams this season. Remember, we got to keep it to this year. And this year, right here in our current time, history does not matter. The Chiefs, in particular, look like a team that is in peril. And again, they can get it together, but right now, they are in peril. The Ravens are in peril. And that's the questions that should be asked, instead of the whole, well, are the Colts good? No, they're fine. And we'll see if they continue to stay fine. But the question shouldn't be on them. The question should be about these teams that are supposed to be historically good. And they haven't been. And they're the ones who need to get their stuff together. That's where the question should be for this season as we sit here. Well, That will conclude this edition of the Bofa Sports Shorties. And that's what I am breathing on for this afternoon. Y'all make sure y'all visit the Bofa Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the Bofa Sports Facebook page. We will be back with a webcast on Tuesday. And no, I have not forgotten about how my Texas Longhorns got whooped between the hedges. We will talk about that on Tuesday as well. But until then, everybody have a great Monday afternoon, and we will talk later this week. Y'all take care.